you are a community club. DCFC is a community-built club. And it will always
team is pitching a plan to revitalize a historic gem in our community, and it's a project that's driven by their passion for their sport.
State of disrepair right now. Concrete sort of crumbling a little bit. The bleachers.
Football club. We're at Keywood Stadium. This stadium was built in 1936. Simply put,
it's amazing to see just how far they have come. Years ago, they were playing over at Gas Tech, and now so many people.
The post and Stephon St. Louis is there to clear it.
Yeah, in the background, they give us the 12th man. It's awesome.
Fans to watch. We're happy to put on a show for all these guys that came out to see us play.
When we move, they move, and just communication is the biggest part.
It was great. I think we could have earned a shutout earlier against Sparta in the year.
Awesome. The atmosphere is amazing.
Monday with the right foot. It's in the back of the net.
People know us now. People know what to expect. Now we gotta take it to another level.
Look, city till I die. Say hi to the bad fella. Hella smooth with the flow, so grab your umbrella. Yeah, we make it rain. Bring the pain. Things are changing. Power rankings take a spanking. Got them rearranging. They said Denise are all stars till we deboed all y'all. Ball of fist and brawl y'all. Yeah, we pissed off all y'all. And we thin, but still winning. Grinning at the top. Got up under head spinning. Make that chin pop. Blue collar clocking in. They been mocking us for days till they step into the key and they been leaving with a fade. Doubting us, but then they swayed. Say we pout, they throwing shade. You will never have what we have, time to get the blade. Cause we'll be cutting them up. Yeah, we're shutting them up. We ain't bluffing, tell you something, better knuckle up. Y'all ain't nothing but chumps, we put in overtime. We'll be putting in work until it's closing time. City till I die. Talking blood, sweat, and tears. City till I die. We've been building this for years. City till I die. This don't
so where's Garrett? He's recording an Eintracht Frankfurt podcast tonight.
Yeah, that or he's probably popping on some other clubs, supporters podcast like he tends to do. So
yeah, man of the people.
Maybe he's on some that Rhode Island podcast or some Hartford podcast or.
Is there a Louisville podcast?
Technology failure.
Yeah, there's probably Louisville podcasts. He's probably on all of them. He's making his media rounds tonight. I think that's I think that's the industry term for it, is the media rounds. So, who's leading this tonight? Is it going to be? Are you doing it, Jaimie?
I can.
It doesn't matter to me.
This should be the intro, actually. Us deciding on the spot who's.
So
what are we going to talk about? Anything interesting?
I don't know.
Any other bands reunite since we last?
So we got Oasis. We got Linkin Park.
Is that true? Linkin Park got back together.
Yeah, they got a new singer.
I guess I didn't know they broke up.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, I guess they didn't break up, but they went on hiatus after Chester died.
Oh.
So, and now I think their new singer is, what's her name? Emily Armstrong, I think that's her name. She came from a band called Dead Sarah, but there's like a bunch of controversy surrounding her because she's, I guess she's like a big Scientologist, or is a big Scientologist, and it actually gets kind of like, there's like a very serious aspect to it. Like remember Danny Masterson?
Yeah.
Yeah, like she went to his trial, like I think it was like when it was a pre-trial, like back in 2020 or something, and was like offering support to him. So I don't know, and she like recently came out like kind of like denouncing him and saying she basically made a mistake and shit like that. But yeah,
this is hurting my career prospects right now, so I'm totally against him.
Yeah, well,
all that stuff I did before, just like ignore that.
Yeah. What else was there? There's been a lot of stuff in the music. Perry Farrell and Dave Navarro kind of going at it on stage in that Jane's Addiction concert.
They canceled the rest of their tour.
They canceled the rest of their tour
because Perry's just out of control right now. He needs to go into rehab. So.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what I figured it was. Like we went up to Dave Navarro.
So whether he wants to or not, he needs to go into rehab.
Yeah, and like he started pushing him and everything, and Dave Navarro was like, "Dude, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing?" But yeah, Perry looked like he was completely out of it. in the
Yeah, people were
clips that I
complaining
saw.
about his performances too. He's just rambling and messing up songs and stuff like that. So he's in a bad space. So he's needs some help.
Yeah. Well, speaking of who doesn't need help,
Segue. Smooth.
Just how we planned it.
Detroit City FC, you guys.
Yeah.
Pulling off a massive, I don't want to underplay this either. Massive, probably the upset of the season if you're looking at it from all
World
directions
changing.
here. It's world changing.
Epic.
It's league changing. It completely changed the way that you look at this playoff race and possibly the championship race, because everybody around USL Championship completely forgot about Louisville, because Detroit City FC beat the current reigning, well, not rating, I just want to make it sound like it's more like bigger than it actually is. Top of the table, New Mexico United. Yes, there is a New Mexico. We're not talking about old Mexico. We're talking about New Mexico.
The New Mexico.
The New Mexico.
That all the kids are talking about these days.
Yes. By the way, happy Hispanic Heritage Month, Jaimie.
When's the club rolling out the T-shirts, man?
I don't know. I'm still waiting for mine. Haven't gotten it yet. But yes, beat New Mexico United at Keyworth. Biggest match of the year in the whole league. 1-0. Let's break it down, everybody. Jaimie, go ahead. Thoughts?
The first thing it felt like it's been a long time since they won a big match at Keyworth.
The last win that they had at Keyworth was a big win. It was against Charleston. That was their last home match.
But that was when, in May? Like, you know, it feels like it was forever ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had that little spell of back-to-back wins against Birmingham and Tampa. And then it just felt like we plunged back down into the depths of despair with, you know, like, I don't remember even who we played, but we felt like we lost and tied all the rest of the games in between. And then, yeah, still a little bit, you know, like, troubling that we're not scoring from play. Like, obviously we get a penalty kick, completely deserved penalty kick, and, you know, Mackey's not going to miss that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you know, a little bit. I would have loved to have seen another goal.
From Ben Morris.
From Ben Morris would have been great.
Didn't he rattle one off the crossbar? I thought he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And then he had that one-on-one.
Yeah, he had another one
late in the game.
Half. Yeah.
And that was deflected by, I think, the keeper.
But yeah, I mean, there wasn't too many other big chances. Jope got into one good shooting situation in the second half, and I think he almost killed someone that was waiting in line for their bayonets. But no, it was good win, good defensive. You know, Carlos, he's playing great. Really bailed us out a couple times, more than a couple times probably. So, you know, I still don't really know what, like, is Nate gonna play against Louisville? Who knows? But yeah, good win, much needed win, and look at us, you know, mid September, hanging on to fourth place. So we'll see.
Alan, it seems like Laurent Kisiudou is kind of slowly putting his mark on this team, because it seems like what happened Saturday which kind of contributed to that Maxi penalty and ultimate goal there was in part due to Kisiadu. What are your thoughts on Kisiadu's addition to this lineup, and just overall your thoughts on Saturday's match as well?
So this was his third starting performance.
Mm-hmm.
His first game, he came in as a second half sub.
Yep.
When was that? That was against Tulsa. And so I think he's, and clearly Danny's not going to start him unless he thinks he's, ready to be started. And so he's gained a place in the starting lineup. And I think he's kind of, everyone's figuring out like how to incorporate him. And it's just like the upside seems really high. So it's like, he's going to start playing a bigger and bigger role because we're starting to see it. He's starting to get more comfortable moving the ball around, to know where he wants to put the ball. And guys are getting used to like where he's at. So that should be a promising addition. And, not to be a downer, but he's one of the few like new faces that have made an impact.
Yeah, much needed addition to this team, considering the loss of Ali Coote earlier on. As soon as, it was, I don't want to say it was a perfect storm or anything like that, but it just seemed like certain things kept on falling into place, which contributed to, kind of this offense falling apart. Just a disappointing run of form for this team. First, it was Elvis going down against North Carolina way earlier in the season, and then Ali Coote getting homesick and leaving the team to go back to Ireland or Scotland. And yeah, this team was kind of in a funk offensively. They kind of lost their identity. That early identity that they had with between Maxi and Elvis and Ali, and now it seems like it's kind of, they're kind of regaining some type of identity offensively with the addition of Laurent in the lineup.
He's on loan, right? He's on loan, right?
Yeah, he's on loan. Yeah, he's on loan. Which, God, Spence was talking about this the other day about, kind of guys having like a dress rehearsal for next season. That's kind of like, obviously the point that we're in right now with this team where, yeah, we're playing for a playoff spot, but, there's guys playing for position next year.
Yeah, so many of them are on one-year deals. Like it's the audition is ongoing, but
and in Lauren's case too, you wonder like what is going on with his team. God, where is he? Was it the Czech Republic? Is it a teammate from Czech Republic that he's on loan from? I think it's a first division team from the Czech Republic that he's on loan from, and you wonder if something like that could end up turning into a permanent spot on the team heading into next year, because he would be a perfect addition for City. He's been in this league before. He's had plenty of success in this league before. You hope as a supporter, as a fan, that he's realizing that himself, that he wanted to make this move back to the United States, to USL Championship specifically, to kind of, rejuvenate that success for himself. Obviously, if he has a lot of success here, these last stretch of games, who knows what else could happen? It could, you could see him.
Ben Pierman's going to sign him next year. That's what will happen.
But that's what I mean. Like, he could end up finding a better gig someplace else. So, is too much success bad for Detroit City in this sense? That's the hope. You hope, in my opinion, that you are able to find Kisiadu and be able to plug him into this lineup long term, or you kind of go back to the drawing board in the offseason and try to find a player
He's pretty young
like
too.
him.
Like, you know, he's I think just 25 or what. You know, like he still has some like room to grow as well. Like he's not like
Yeah.
you know what was his name?
Elvis.
No, well, like Elvis. No. Oh my gosh, why is my brain not working? The guy from the first year with the mullet and the mustache and USL Championship that came from went to Hartford because he had a kid.
How quickly you forget.
What is his name? This is ridiculous. Do you know, Adam, who I'm talking about? You can't, or are you just making me suffer?
I'm making you suffer.
The winger.
Yeah, what's his name? He did the little hip thrust when we drew with Louisville in the U.S. Open Cup. Whatever his name is. I don't even know what I was talking about.
I don't know who you're talking about either.
No, but I don't remember why I went on that. Oh, that's what I was saying. Because whoever it is, mystery guy, was older when he came. I'm just all that to say, Kissy Dude, like he could become a part of the team for like 4 or 5 years. He's got a lot of good years ahead of him, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's not typical because you're right. Like Elvis, he's already 31. You know, a lot of these guys. Well, and then the other extreme, of course, is like freaking Aaron Beboot, who's like 12 years old. But yeah, it's not usual that we get like a guy who's coming into his prime, and then he stays. That's what I wanted to say.
Alan, Jaime kind of touched on it earlier, but your thoughts on, I'm not going to call it a goalkeeper controversy or anything like that, but Carlos in net again, gets the clean sheet against New Mexico. You have to assume that Carlos is going to be getting the start against Louisville on Sunday. What are your initial thoughts on Carlos seemingly kind of taking over that starting role from Nate?
Well, he was a huge part of keeping us in that win. He made some tremendous saves. Really kind of reminded me of Nate. Not quite as acrobatic in terms of the just absolute world class saves, but his positioning is just like improving each time. Mm-hmm. So, is he the new number one? It's kind of hard to like be that clear cut, but he has started the last few games. So if there was a rotation process in place, it doesn't seem like that's it seems pretty flexible. So Nate does have experience against Louisville, so that might be a determining factor. Though, unfortunately, I think that experience has been pretty negative. In terms of
got a lot of experience picking the ball up out of the net.
Yeah, exactly. But like, if a player's hot, do you really want to substitute him in the starting lineup? No, you go with the guy that's like getting it done. So for that reason, mainly, that he seems to be very comfortable. It's allowing the back line to know who they're working with. So you have a few weeks now of some consistency, and I think that counts for a lot. I understand why you want to keep both goalkeepers like fit, mm-hmm. but there's a price to that, and it seems to make more sense that Carlos would start against Louisville. So of course it'll be Nate.
That's how Garrett lost a Dairy Queen bet, man.
Well, it's a 50-50 shot, so the odds are pretty
Watch
pretty
this week.
even.
They'll
Yeah.
announce the return of Shello, and
it'll be something like Rando.
God, no.
That will really throw a wrench in the.
It's like some guy we never heard of.
Hey,
Just
Jaimie,
start playing goalkeeper. We'll see how he does against Louisville.
Jake Bates has been signed to play goalkeeper.
I mean, were you talking about Hopino? Is that who you were talking about?
That's the one, yes, Opino.
Oh, you forgot Antoine Hopino,
One of my favorite
man.
players, so of course I couldn't remember his name either. So
I'm getting old, man.
He scored one of my.
Tell me about it.
Hopino scored one of my favorite goals in Detroit City FC history. It was during the ESPN Deportes match when we took it out of our end. It was such a cool transition because took it out of our end. I forgot who passed it over to Pado midfield, but Pado had this nasty feed at midfield to Hopino, who just buried it. Who were we playing that game? Was that Birmingham we were playing in that game?
Probably.
Yeah, I think it was Birmingham. I remember the weather was so shitty, but the call, actually, it's one of my favorite calls in Detroit City FC history too, because it was ESPN Deportes. So the Spanish language, announcer was calling it. They had that traditional Spanish language goal call. The goal, Detroit City. It was so cool. Like, I have it saved on my phone because I listen to it from time to time when City is making you want to tear your hair out. But yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite goals and one of my favorite goal calls in Detroit.
Low key, I think, like, in the years to come, we're going to look back to that 2022 team and say that was one of the best Detroit City teams that we've had.
You could do like a lower league soccer 30 for 30 on that whole, like, those whole 2 seasons right there, from the final year in Nisa to that whole first year in USL Championship. Just how just that whole transition and everything, and the success that they found. Relatively speaking,
documentarians, we know you listen.
Well, I mean,
get started. We need that.
No, but you're right, Alan. That looking back on that team, was, I mean, that was a special team. It was definitely a special team, and you look at guys that they brought in, because that was obviously the year that we brought in Michael Bryant. Who just played in his 100th game with City, which is crazy to think about. Antoine Hopino.
So wild. Congrats to him. I mean, he's had a huge impact.
Absolutely. And, Antoine Hopino too. Where would you think about where the team would be if they didn't go out and sign a guy like Antoine Hopino, who, at that point already had a pretty good career in USL Championship.
He was an established name.
Established player.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, it was like a Pudge Rodriguez,
That's a really good comparison, honestly.
Signing with the Detroit Tigers back in 2004.
Yeah, when they
they
still sucked hard.
Yeah, and not that Detroit City sucked or anything like that, but you're going from Nisa, which is basically a high-end 4th tier.
No, let's just wait a second, Adam. Okay. This is a respected league.
Okay, fair enough. Then it was a respected league.
A lot of potential.
Then it was a respected league. Now it's basically higher end 4th tier.
Now it's a punchline.
Now it's a punchline. But yeah, I mean, it's you sit there and you wonder where this team would be if it wasn't for some of those, Antoine especially coming over and signing with City, playing with City that entire first season, and scored the first goal in USL Championship for City. Scored our only playoff goal that first season for Detroit City, or scored our first playoff goal in USL Championship. Antoine Hopino. We ended up obviously losing to Louisville. Was that
Yeah, he played in
2-1?
30 games over 2,000 minutes. I mean, so he was like a core member of that team.
Yeah, definitely. And he shaved the mullet, and he kind of went into a huge slump in the middle of summer.
That's a lesson to you boys and girls. Never cut your hair.
That's right.
Never cut your hair. Never. I mean, you don't do anything drastic like that, mid-season, because you look and see what happened mid-season. But my God, you look at
Threw his balance off or something.
It did. You look at that season too, and just how thin we were on the bench.
There was games where the only two subs was the two Tannies.
Yeah. I mean, and you look,
and Shello. Like, we had a backup goalie and like the two 18-year-olds or whatever.
Yeah, and you look at things now. You look at the players we have, as options now off the bench. There's been some games where we've had Maxi coming off the bench.
I mean, we're leaving some. Like, we have some healthy scratches this year.
Yeah. Like our last game, Yazid, I think, was a healthy scratch, probably. Yeah. At that time, there's no way that we're leaving Yazid or anything like that as a healthy scratch. It's just funny to write. It's just crazy to kind of reminisce about that, looking back on that 2022 team, and in a sense how far the team has come. Yeah. Because I was looking at our schedule today, and just how City fans and supporters tend to freak out about some of this stuff. I mean, especially when you look at last season as well and how bad we were last season. I still don't understand how we made the playoffs last year. But looking at things this year, even our run of form, when we thought it was bad, it really wasn't as bad as it could be. I mean, the thing that sucked about, the past several games is obviously losing leads late and having to settle for mostly draws. But we're still gaining a point. But you look at some of this form that other teams have been on, specifically a team like the Indy 11, who it was kind of surprising where they were, because you saw this team, have a chance to go to the finals in the U.S. Open Cup. But then you look at their form and how they've been playing over the past, several games, and it hasn't been that good. Like, I'm bringing up their schedule right now. And I know we're kind of getting off track here, but whatever. Where is it here? Why can't I find it? There we go. So they beat El Paso 3-1. Obviously, it's something that we couldn't do, a few weeks ago. And then they ended up tying or drawing Hartford and then drawing Pittsburgh. But prior to that, they were 1-4 in their previous 5 games. Lost 5-0 to Charleston on August 2nd. Came back and beat Rhode Island at home 1-0. But then they ended up losing to New Mexico, Las Vegas Lights, and then that one game in there was a 2-0 loss to Sporting Kansas City in the Open Cup. Still, take out that one, you're still 1-4. 1-4 during that stretch as well. Which before that too, I mean, you had a draw against Tulsa, and you lose 2-0 to the Rowdies, and then you draw Loudoun. So I mean, again, it's you look at them, you look at teams like Birmingham, and it's I mean City. I mean it hasn't been as bad as it could be.
Look,
And
last year there were some really like truly soul destroying losses.
Sure.
Like the Rowdies lost in Tampa, abysmal.
That 5-1 was that what it was?
Yeah,
Like 5-1
I
loss.
mean, we got like just absolutely embarrassed against Phoenix. Allen was there in Indy for that road match last September. And
The
it was
bus trip.
It was only 3-0, but that's one of the all-time worst performances I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It was so bad. So yeah, it hasn't been last year's levels, but I think for me, it's just been frustration in the sense that there's been opportunities for us to really like grab a hold of one of these top 4 places, and we just haven't been, like we haven't beat Hartford this year, and they're terrible. Like, drawing El Paso 0-0. Like those are like to me those are in the grand scheme they're not terrible results, but like they're missed opportunities like for us to really kind of assert ourselves as one of the top teams in the East. And it's been a little weird too because it feels like we've gotten better results against some of the stronger teams, and then we kind of come back and we kind of crap the bed again.
It does suggest maybe we're playing down to our opponents.
Yeah, I think there's some element
and you
to that.
see that. It just like when you see that, you just want to like, shake somebody, metaphorically, not physically. Yeah, especially because you look at the players we have, and you look at them individually, and you think these are pretty good players. I mean, it's like you can look at their individual performances and say that's good. Do more of that. That's good. And it's just been the bringing it all together has been the challenge. So that the promising thing is you can work on that. You can. And we've got a coach who is trying to figure it out, and given that he's kind of settled on a lineup in the last few games, maybe we're seeing what that looks like. I mean, we could discuss like who's in that, perhaps that settled lineup and who's not, and there are some surprises there.
Should we talk about? So we mentioned this in the group chat, but like, didn't you say Connor Rutz has started like 5 of the last 6 matches?
Yeah.
I mean,
he seemed to have.
He seemed
gotten a
completely out of the
place.
picture for months, and now all of a sudden, like in this like final stretch, it seems like he's being a player that's being relied upon and trusted by the coach, right?
Yeah. And whose spot did he take?
Do you take Reese's spot?
Yeah, Reese hasn't been in the team, which is
the thing about Connor too is there's been a lot of complaints about Connor, and
Mostly from Adam. Adam.
It's not been mostly for me.
I don't know. You don't want to overstate that. It's only like 40 or 45%.
Yeah, he did forget about his 451 interview too, which I'm glad.
Oh yeah, well that's just.
I'm glad Red reminded him. I'm glad Red reminded him in the handshake line that one game, and I'm glad Jaimie put that that note in our Twitter bio too.
I felt like I had to plant a flag for.
Yes, so just because that's not I can't believe that's something that Connor forgot. Of course,
and we wouldn't use that as an excuse to talk mad shit about him. but since we're already talking about him,
yeah. Look, this is a second coaching staff that has, in some way, featured Connor. I don't want to say prominently in the starting 11, but has featured him in the starting 11, especially these past
he started
several
the
games.
season as clearly nailed to the bench.
Yes,
And over
I
the
mean,
course of the season, now he's starting.
and
So, I mean, that's coming from somewhere.
yeah, and what does that have? What does that have to say about Connor as a player? What it tells me is Connor has a place in this league. He has a place. He has a function in this league, whether people like it or not.
I feel like the biggest complaint, and this didn't just apply to Connor last year, but he wasn't very good last year.
No.
And yet he seemed to start every single game, right? And play almost all the minutes, never came off the field, and you're just like, geez, like, we try something. He was almost like the scapegoat, I think, for a lot of the woes, and it wasn't obviously all him. I think you could have said that about a lot of players. Like, why aren't we getting this guy off? But yeah, I think, and a lot of players, maybe they have had a starting role, and then you get moved to the bench. A lot of them don't take that very well. But it seems like Connor's just kind of gotten his head down and kept working, and like Alan said, now he's getting his opportunity, and he's not had like a huge impact like in the goal scoring. Well, I think he's playing pretty well. Like if you just look at like what he's doing on the field, he's like contributing quite a bit. We all know how hard he works defensively. So yeah, I mean that's fair play to him for you could say, well, it's send me, I'll go somewhere else, right? Or you see that all the time in soccer when someone isn't starting regularly, but he just kind of got on with his work, and yeah.
Maybe it's, and I can't explain Connor's successes this year other than maybe Danny is using him in spots that I don't know if it's Danny using him in spots that fits Connor's game better. If it's I don't know. Maybe it's a supporting cast that is helping Connor succeed more this year. Something that maybe Trevor didn't have at his disposal last year. I don't know, but it's nice to see, because I don't think that Connor is going to continue to be in that spot if he hurts the team. Right. And he hasn't hurt the team. I completely agree with what you said, Jaime, that Connor is being put in a spot right now where he can succeed and he can help this team. I don't think we're going to get to a point where Connor's going to keep being featured in the starting 11 if he ends up hurting the team and does that continuously.
Well, I think that's something that DQ has shown, is that he's not afraid to change it up if someone's not performing. Like Amo is the perfect example. Like, we brought him, and that was the big signing in the off season. Like, hey, this is going to be the guy who gets the goals, and it hasn't really worked out. But like, DQ is not still, like, he's on the bench, or he's not even in the match day squad at this point. So he seems willing to kind of make those big decisions, if the players aren't performing. So
yeah, it seems. I mean, as far as like players though, as far as that set lineup goes, for me it's kind of still hard to make it out. I think Kisiadu is. I think he's cementing himself into the starting 11. I think on the back line, you've got. I think you're always going to see Steven and Devin as your center backs. It still seems like you're seeing some inner. It doesn't seem like the wing backs are as settled, in a sense. It does. Yeah. I mean, in some sense, you do see Michael. I think Michael is probably the most cemented wingback that we have. On the other side, it seems like Alex is maybe starting to get, more of a cemented role.
Yeah, but which is
back there as well.
it's strange though, because there was that little run, kind of late summer where Levi's was playing so well.
And but Levi's is hurt right now too.
No, for sure. But I'm just saying, like now Villanueva's getting an opportunity, and he is kind of cementing himself. So whether Levi's comes back and he goes back into the lineup or not, we'll see. But it feels like the players are knowing that at least there's opportunities, which I feel like maybe that was in the last year part of the problem, is that the players that were on the outside or on the fringe of the team didn't think they actually had a chance to get in for any reason.
Right.
I would say that, yeah, and I would say the biggest question marks right now are probably it's probably at the midfield. I don't think that there's a settled midfield. I think the only settled aspect with the City midfield is probably Maxey. Other than that, I think you're going to see some interchangeable parts in there. Whether it's James, whether it's Joe, whether it's the weird thing too is you saw Ryan Williams featured more prominently throughout the summer, it seemed, and he's kind of fallen back into that reserve role. But and up top, like I said, I think Kisiadu and probably Ben Morris are probably I think you're probably going to see them more featured up top more, and that's kind of taken over from what we saw earlier on in the season again from a guy like Victor Becerra and Elvis Amo, who I don't think has ever recovered from that early season injury. Yazid Matthews. I don't know.
Cedeno,
yeah. I mean,
like when we first signed him, I thought like, he got a run in there. I thought, oh, maybe this guy's gonna, have a chance to kind of, claim a spot, but he's kind of fallen to the wayside too. So,
yeah.
Which is kind of the thing with Cedeno too. I kind of wonder about him a little bit because he did sign a multi-year deal with Oakland before he got traded or transferred to Detroit City. So I'm wondering if he's with City next year, for sure, because he does have that contract. I don't know though. He kind of reminds me of, it reminds me in a sense of, why can't we remember players tonight?
Antoine Opino?
No. Who is the one that we got from? He played on the wing against San Diego the first game of the season last year. Was horrible, and you really never saw him again.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Ty Goddard.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of him a little bit. I don't know. I'm hoping we see a little bit more of Cedeno though. I was intrigued by his play coming in to the team, and I still want to see what else he can do. And he did. He got some time the other night against New Mexico. So it's not like he's banished the bench.
Transfer Market says he's signed through 2024, but we have a 1-year club option for 25.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, yeah.
So maybe he won't be.
Maybe he won't be. Yeah. Maybe he won't be. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's had 6 appearances, and for all those games, we either lost or drew. So, which is not necessarily his fault, but
it is his fault.
Statistics tell us that certain things happen when he was playing, and they didn't involve winning.
I don't know. What do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to look ahead to the nationally televised Lou City match this coming Sunday?
Man, I did not realize it was moved to Sunday, and I was bummed because I thought this past weekend was going to be the last game I was going to get to because I'm at a tournament in Indiana this weekend. But if we lose enough games on Saturday, I'll be able to come home early on Sunday and make the 3 o'clock game. So
that's a consolation there for you.
Hopefully, none of the players' parents listen to this podcast.
So are you coaching? Are you coaching?
I'm coaching. Yeah.
So you can make things happen.
I'm gonna deliberately sabotage my team's efforts.
You can make Jaimie can make things happen, and
I'm gonna mysteriously bench our goalkeeper before the first game.
Hey, it's a strategy. I don't question you on your job. Don't question me about benching our keeper. And maybe you should try something out. Start all forwards, and maybe that could be like a trial run to see if that kind of helps our goal scoring woes. Once again,
bring out some classic football formations of the 19th century.
The two-man defense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and just for fun.
I think you should try a 0-0-11 formation, Jaimie.
There you go. The Ted Lasso.
they're gonna be talking about me like Pep Guardiola here, a true innovator of the game.
There you go.
Oh well, this weekend, like I said, we've got Lou City coming to town. 3 p.m. Eastern, ESPN2. Our last nationally televised match of the season. Bring in a red-hot Lou City team who signed up all the good players in USL Championship and are just rolling over everybody except Hartford back on August 24th, which was their last loss.
That was a mysterious result. I don't know what happened there.
Well, Lou City did get a red card that game. Prior to that, their last league loss was against Oakland Roots 1-0 on July 6th.
This is outrageous, though. They're 20 points clear of us.
Yes. They did lose 4-0 to Frankfurt, though.
Maybe we can use that to our advantage. Maybe they won't start their best players. Maybe they'll just bring like the academy kids or something.
We've got them right where we want them.
Exactly.
God, and the thing is, too, is like they're not even drawing. They're just winning.
That's the thing.
They're just a machine right now.
20 wins is outrageous.
Their last draw was on May 25th against Rhode Island on the road. And
okay. Look at this.
And we've had like 35 draws in that same time frame.
No, but listen, Pittsburgh last year had 19 wins in the entire season when they finished first. And Sacramento in the West had 18 wins for the regular season, and they're already on 20 wins. Louisville City this year.
We have 2 months left. Holy cats!
Yeah. So, our head-to-head with them, the last time that we played Lou City, we lost 5-1. That was back on May 29th.
I don't remember that.
It was a blur. In that game, we had Matt Sheldon score in the 34th minute, which it was close. It was close at halftime. It was tied. We were tied 1-1 at halftime. Then in the second half, Louisville just went off. Goals in the 48th, 61, 84, which is a penalty, and then the 74th.
I blame Cedeno.
Yeah.
Wasn't even on the team yet.
Wasn't even on the team yet. Jesus Christ. And the thing is, too, is we held possession that game 57-43. Shots weren't even that bad. It was 16-10. They had 8 shots on target. We had 5. So, I don't know. That was That was the last time we played them. Other than that,
Well, they beat us in the playoffs last year, 4-0, right?
Yes, they beat us in the playoffs last year, 4-0.
Absolutely destroyed us.
You were at that game too, weren't you, Alan?
In bad conditions, but it was just like relentless. We just got slapped around all game long.
I will say this though: the last time Lou City came to Detroit, we beat them 2-0, July 19th, 2023. That was a Wednesday game. Garrett wasn't there for that one. And you know what? He's not going to be there this Sunday, too.
Let's go. You're telling me there's a chance.
So, and you know what? Nate got the clean sheet that game as well.
All right.
You know who scored that game? Jaimie?
In the 2-0?
Yes. Don't look for it. Don't look at it.
No. You probably will tell me it's Ben Morris who scored.
It was Ben Morris in the 5th minute.
There we go.
Who
It's all coming together.
Who scored the other one?
Posh, that shithead who tucks his jersey into his shorts. He had an own goal, and I think.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that because Reese Williams went charging down the. We all thought it was Reese's goal.
Yes.
But that tosser got a touch at the last second to.
Yep.
Make it past the goalkeeper. All right, it's all coming back to me now.
And I think Maxie rang one off the crossbar in that one as well. So it really probably should have been 3-0. But yeah, it's the last time we played them at Keyworth. We beat them 2-0. That was one of our highlight wins of the season last year. This year, though, like we all...
A few wins of the season altogether.
Yeah. Like we prefaced, Louisville's just like on a completely other planet right now when it comes to this season. It's crazy. Jaimie laid it out that Pittsburgh had 19 wins all of last season, and we thought that they won in dominating fashion. Won the regular season in dominating fashion until they met that juggernaut that was Detroit City FC in the playoffs. I think the best way to go into this, Alan, you and I were talking a little bit before the New Mexico match, how we had basically zero expectations for that New Mexico match. We're like, I'm not even really worried about it because it just seems like this is a game we're destined to lose. Maybe that's the way to go into this one. Maybe we go into this one not having any expectations, maybe thinking that we're destined to lose. But at the end of the day, at the end of Sunday, we come out with if we win, it'll probably be like 1-0 or something like that. But this is one of those games though where, and this is the thing, this is what sucks when you can't score any goals. Once again, you have to play a pretty much perfect game against Louisville if you want to beat them, and if you're Detroit City. Detroit City still has a very, very good defense. Maybe arguably the best in all of USL Championship. They're going to have to be perfect. They're going to have to be absolutely perfect Sunday if they want to get past Louisville.
Yeah, you look at the New Mexico game. New Mexico had a lot of chances, and we just shut them down with superior goals play. It's just like if you make a mistake against Louisville, they're going to score. New Mexico, they're not that tight, so we were able to hold on there. But it was relentless. New Mexico had lots of chances to win, and they just couldn't pull it off. So Louisville is not going to be accommodating like that. So we have to be perfect because all we're going to get is a few chances to score, and if we can manage to score, then there's not going to be bags of goals. So, but I also the one good thing is at least against New Mexico, we were able to do what has eluded us so many times in previous games, which is to hold on to the lead. So that's maybe we can get beyond that, and it was good timing to like kind of get over that hurdle.
Jaimie?
No, I was just gonna say I agree with what Alan was saying. Like we are gonna have to be perfect, like especially defensively. But I do think it's gonna be a mistake if we try and sit back and like soak up all the pressure. Like I think we have to try and be a little bit proactive and put pressure on them, because there's no way we're gonna be able to defend for 90 minutes. We have to be able to try and take the game to them a little bit. Because if we're just gonna try and park the bus, I think that's a strategy that's going to be doomed to fail.
It seems like
that was one of. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Alan. No, go ahead, Alan.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask. Is like, what's the correct strategy for this? Like, what's on the chalkboard? What's on Danny's chalkboard? Do you try to play for the point? But like we said, if you try to do that, it's not going to work.
You know what? I think. You look at this upcoming stretch of games that we have here. I think City is already. I think that they're already. They've already done what they needed to do. I thought that coming away with 2 points against New Mexico and Louisville would have been great. That'd have been great. 2 draws, coming away with 2 points. That's gonna be that's fine with me. Over these 2 games, we're already coming away with 3 points in it. Yes, a win against Louisville would be awesome. That would be great. I don't want to say I'm okay with a loss because
Adam just said he doesn't care if they win or lose.
But this as
long as everyone has fun. That's the important thing.
But this just goes back to the point though, and kind of the question of what's on Danny's chalkboard. I say this is a game where you really don't have anything to lose, except 3 points. Just go at it. City, I think, has been most successful is when they've applied pressure early. And I think that's what they need to do. Look, I mean, everybody knows that Louisville is going to be the better team. Louisville knows that they're the better team. Everybody's going into this game expecting Louisville to win. Because of that, I think, why not? Why not just go all out? Early pressure. Don't sit back. If you sit back, like you said, Jaimie, and park the bus, yeah, you're probably going to lose against, the firepower that Louisville has. You already beat New Mexico. You have Monterey Bay coming up after this Louisville match.
Do you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? They're going to beat Louisville.
And lose to Monterey.
And then they're going to lose to Monterey, who suck nuts.
Mark it down.
I don't know. I don't want to see them get too conservative in this Louisville match. Yeah. I think if you're too conservative in this Louisville match, you're most certainly going to lose. I want to see them try some things. I want to see them be aggressive offensively, because, again, I think this is the game that's already chalked up to a loss, that people have already penciled in as a loss. If that's the case, fuck it. Be aggressive right off the opening kick. Press them, put all the pressure on their defense, try to get them to make a mistake like you did with New Mexico. Look what happened with New Mexico the last game. City came out early, was pressing. What happened? New Mexico made a mistake in the box, got a penalty out of it, and that ended up being the game-winning goal. I think that's the same approach that City needs to make this coming Sunday against Louisville, against a team that's better than New Mexico. You put pressure on them, you press them, you potentially force them to make a mistake. With the strength of our defense, you get an early goal, you let them make a mistake early, then you know what? You give yourself a chance to win. I think that's what they need to do.
Yep.
There's a saying in Spanish. It says, "Die with the sword in your hand."
Say it in Spanish. Probably sounds better in Spanish.
Morir con la espada.
There you go. I want to see Carlos with
a sword.
with that on a T-shirt. So after they win, he just lifts it up.
I think the goal is to get the other guy to die with the sword in his hand.
Well, Carlos can go and spray.
Either way,
Carlos can spray paint it on that shithead.
No, when they're all coming, like arriving to the stadium, and like they're all taking pictures of them like coming down the tunnel or whatever.
Oh, in their drip.
Yeah, exactly. They should just carry a sword out there.
I think we can set them up with
I don't know if we'll get through security,
sure
but
somebody's got one hanging around.
It's just safe. There's,
very lackadaisical one.
Yeah. Depending on which safe person you get too, you might be able to convince them. Oh well, they let me bring in a sword last time.
With the club.
Sean Madden said it was okay. Go ask him. Call him on the radio right now. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not expecting much coming into Sunday, but I don't know.
But we're gonna win.
We're gonna win. Is it? Are we? Do you want to do predictions?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jaimie.
Detroit City 2. And mind you, we haven't scored 2 goals in like about 7 months. Detroit City 2. Louisville City 1. Benjamin Morris.
Oh my.
With an own goal to put Louisville ahead. And then Maxi Rodriguez and who else is going to score?
Kissy-doo.
Kissy-doo, yep, he's going to open his account. Mark, write it down.
Oh my God.
Last time we scored more than 1 goal in the game was August 21st. 3-2 win against the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
It hasn't been that long.
It hasn't been that long. I thought it was going to be longer than that. Alan?
Protect. We'll score a goal in this game. I'm not gonna comment on what the other team is gonna do.
But we're gonna score a goal.
We're gonna score at least 1 goal.
All right, we'll take that.
Do you want to say who gets the goal?
I think it's gonna be Kissy-doo.
I was hoping you'd say Ben.
I think Ben is gonna have some chances, but I don't think he's gonna score.
I figured that was Jaimie's time to be like, yeah, he gets some chances, but is never able to finish it.
That doesn't sound like me at all.
I'm gonna go 2-0 win for Louisville.
Wow.
2-0 win for Louisville. Get 1 in the first half, get 1 in the second half. And then we all go back and hopefully the Lions win on Sunday to kind of numb the pain of this.
What time is that game?
Is it 4 o'clock?
Maybe.
So, well, it's in Arizona, so it has to be at 4.
Oh, right. So late kickoff. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Right.
Jaimie's rethinking is about going to the match now.
I was gonna say if
No,
there
no,
was
no.
a home Lions game, there's nobody at Keyworth.
If I'm back from Indianapolis, I will be at Keyworth and I'll have the Lions on my phone.
I will be at
Something like
Keyworth.
that.
My mother in tow.
Oh, you're gonna bring Mom?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
Is that her first match of the season?
First match here ever.
Oh, really?
Oh,
She's coming from out of town, so
nice.
Is she coming from New Mexico?
yeah.
Well, she's a week late.
Well, we talked about that. I thought, but this weekend works better. So
You don't want to travel with the
she
United.
just wanted to be part of that nationally televised game crowd.
No, I get it. That's really cool, though.
Like glory seeker.
That's cool. Are you going to? Are you guys gonna sit on the smoking side, or are you gonna go to the family side?
I got gold tickets for that.
Oh, you got gold tickets?
Nice.
Yeah.
You don't want to have
They're
her pop
expensive.
smoke? You don't want to have her pop smoke or anything like that?
Sure, she would if he was offered.
Well, bring her over. I've got. You know what? Hold on.
Adam's gonna save her.
Oh no!
Save one for her.
I've got smoke. You could have. What's your mom's name?
Sheila.
Sheila, you said?
Yeah.
You put Sheila's name on this one. This is red smoke. I also have a flare.
Oh, jeez.
yeah.
Hey, she's from out of town. If she gets banned from keywords, she wouldn't care. Like,
We
fuck
could
your
do it.
rules.
Yeah, we could do a flare. It was funny because these are the flares. These are the flares from the match against the Stars, the Open Cup match. And you're sitting there, you're handing these to people, you're teaching them how to use it, and they're like all skittish and everything, like they're gonna set it off. So you're not gonna set it off by taking off the plastic top to it.
It's not dynamite.
You can never be too careful, Adam.
No, it's not. Yeah, right. It's not dynamite. Like if I take it's like a big match almost. Like if I
let's make sure it's not dynamite, right?
It's not dynamite. No.
Okay.
But it's like it's a big match. That's basically what it is. And like there's like a scratch pad right here. Like if you scratch the top of the flare over the scratch pad, then yeah, it's gonna turn on. But yeah, Sheila has a. Well, I'm not gonna bring in flare.
We're gonna edit all of this out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there is some smoke with Sheila's name on it.
Okay. We'll see what happens. Get her waiver squared away.
Maybe maybe we could let Jaimie's kids do the flare if he makes it up to.
Yeah. Just bring the team. Bring the team straight to Keyworth. And just hand out flares to all the children.
All the kids.
Yeah.
Jaimie, that's a
what
good
can roll
idea.
around?
Is that what you're gonna do if you guys lose? You're gonna bring them to Keyworth?
Yeah, I'll invite everybody. Yeah.
Is this the same team that played at Keyworth?
No, this is a different one this year. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You just played at Keyworth though earlier in the season, didn't you?
Last spring was like the end of the.
I see.
The soccer year, youth soccer year. So, yeah.
Anyways, though,
but
do we have any final thoughts or anything like that?
shout out to Lai Joe had a birthday this week.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
Yeah. That's it.
Congrats on the Dwayhe interview. That was really good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. The way he was yeah.
That was if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Go watch it. Go watch it. He talks about some good stuff in there. So, yeah. If you haven't watched it yet, go take a look. Anything else from you, Alan?
That's it.
Well, speaking of the women's team too, MASL season, November to March.
12 months a year.
City is no longer a. I'm sure you guys remember. And you guys remember when City used to be just a summer thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like middle of May to beginning of July, kind of at the beginning. Like, you know, well,
Yeah, because all the college guys went back to their teams, like, towards the end of July. So,
yeah,
every time we made the playoffs, half the team would leave.
Yeah, and I
sucked.
My first year was towards the end of 2019, and I remember when, obviously we made the jump to NISA, the following year, and all the city supporters were like, "Oh my God, can you believe we're starting in like March, early March? We've never seen this before ever. This is crazy. We're going to see City starting in March, and usually it's not till May. Now you get City in some respect all year long. So
yeah, we'd start working on TIFO like March.
Yeah,
and then season would roll around, and then it would go by in a flash because it'd be like 3 games a weekend every weekend.
Yeah.
For 6 weeks. There'd be playoffs typically hosted at our place because we had humongous crowds. We'd lose in the playoffs, first round. And, and then that was it. And then it was just like nothing. I get together like once or twice during the off season, like around Christmas once and this or that. Like just before the season started, there would usually be some events either by the club or by the supporters. And, that was the totality of the Detroit City experience.
There's a lot more tweeting back in those days.
And then in the meantime, during the off season, people just fought with each other. So
yeah,
because there's nothing else to do.
Now you talk
shit to each other for 6 months.
Now you get a full season, full men's season. Women's season in there. You've got a indoor season that's going to go, fill in that whole gap that used to be an off season. And even during that time, you still talk shit to each other. So
yeah, that's true.
It's all year long. You know how they talk about the NFL season being a going all year long? It's a 12-month season. Well, that's what City is now. City is now a 12-month season. Should we do some like Garrett sign off or anything like that, or give like 1 million shout outs? Something real deep.
I don't know that many people.
Should I shout? I'm going to shout out to the lady who gave me my Del Taco order. She ended up giving me extra hot sauce, which was really cool. And then shout out to my brother from another mother. Kaler, yeah. Watched Crystal Palace the other day, and they probably lost because they suck.
My goodness.
Yeah, shout out to the guy who let me merge onto 696 the other day. That was really cool of him to, let me merge. Yeah, and in the walks of life, you get City one day, and you get City the next, and just remember City above all, and we go onward. Peace.
And when life gives you lemons, make furniture polish.
Found.
Detroit City FC. The rules, baby. Welcome to the key. City till I die. Say hi to the bad guy. Pretty gritty in the key. You see, our flag fly, chin check, cash check. We came to sweep the leg. With all disrespect, the rules will bruise your head. 2012, the scene pop. We came to clean clocks. Your team is dream drop. We gave some mean knocks, stomping on the comp. Yeah, we chomping on the bit. Many came and went, but they ain't stopping none of it. Community built, community owned. Roasting foes coast to coast. Leave your hope postponed. Spirit of Detroit. Lemons the lemonade. Yemen and Bangladesh make a stronger braid. City in the city, within the city with deep. Witty with the banter, cause our candor can creep. Now come and get it if you with it. We committed to go. Detroit versus everybody, you already know. Locked and loaded, always ready to bust. Pop and smoke, leave these jokers in dust. City of black excellence is a must to leave these crusty little clowns in a ring of rust from Southwest.